what is different from the old days to new days, right? So you're one of the first Spartan races and stuff like that. You've done those things. What's different now?
One of the biggest differences is that they actually provide water now, which back in the day, Joe used to always have this thing. He was like, marathons are just catered training runs. I'm not going to cater this thing for you. So bring your own water if you want it. Otherwise, you'll get some at the finish line. So that was like a big shift. I started racing down in Miami. You're doing one of these races with no water down there. It's brutal. And I remember just being kind of on the verge of completely passing out at the end for a while. People were trying to revive me with watermelon slices and stuff. Like it was rough. I would say the other big difference is the gladiators. At the finish, you used to have to run through like 4 gladiators, and Spartan would go out and they would go find like these local college football teams and be like, we need like 4 linebackers to come be gladiators at the finish line. And they'd have these big like cudgel sticks, like American Gladiator style. And they would just demolish people as you came through. So that one would go high and one would go for your ankles at the same time. And you'd just get launched onto your face. And so you'd come at these guys and you'd just try and aim your shoulder right for their chest to try and not give them a good target to work with and just run through them. And that went away, I think, insurance liability, but that was the good old days. Just a good level of violence at the end of the race.
Yeah. Hope you don't get matched up against Nitro, I guess, right?
Exactly.
So, being an OG, I guess you see Joe at these races a lot. Do you have any specific Joe stories that some of the newer members of the community would appreciate?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today was, I was down at a race in Marietta, Georgia. They called it the old Atlanta Sprint. And this was 2014 or so. And I'm at the start line with Alec Blennis, who's the Murph world record holder now, and Elliot McGuire, who was on the pro team at the time. Yuri Force has been a very, very high-level obstacle racer for a number of years. And Joe De Sena's walking around the festival area like Joe De Sena used to do before every race. So he's got his Spartan hoodie on and his cargo shorts, and he's just wandering around talking to people and very involved in the whole process at the time. And he'd be on stage all day. And Joe came walking up to us at the start line. Who's your biggest competition? He goes, Magida, do you think you're going to win this race? And I was like, yeah, actually, I do. Absolutely. And he was like, you seem really confident. You want to put some money on that? And I said, yeah. I said, what do you want to bet? I'll bet you anything you want. I'm going to win this race. And he said, I bet you $1,000 you don't win this race. And I said, you're on, Joe. And we shook hands on the start line. And I remember looking around and everybody is looking at each other like, this is really happening. This is crazy. This is a big bet. So we line up, we race it out, and I end up breaking away from the field. Maybe a mile in, I get some distance between a couple of the guys, and I just have to get rid of Yuri, and he misses the spear, and I run a clean race and take off and cross the finish line in first. And Joe De Sena's waiting for me there, very upset that he's going to have to shell out some cash. And I remember saying to him, okay, Joe, like, how are you going to pay me, buddy? And he goes, oh, just invoice me. So the next day I come back to the race site and there's Joe standing there doing the same thing, hoodie on, chit-chatting with people. And I said, Joe, I started prepping my invoice for you last night. And he goes, don't worry, it's going to be delivered in a truckload of pennies. And then I said to him, Joe, I'll give you an opportunity to get your money back. We could do a double or nothing right now. And he goes, no. I've learned my lesson from yesterday, but I'll bet you $100. $100 you can't do it again. So I said, you're on. I'll take the bet. We line up, run the race again. I win the race. And afterwards on my way out, I say, hey, Joe, don't worry, man. I'll send you that invoice. So I'm thinking he's never going to pay. Like this was kind of like a joke, whatever, but we did shake hands in front of all these people. All I know is I typed up the invoice, I emailed it out to Joe, and like a week later, I get a Spartan race check in the mail, or like an envelope in the mail, and I open it up, and there's a check for $1,100. So the man is true to his word, even though he really aimed from the hip and paid his bets, but he's true to his word.